The Ford philosophy: discipline, belief, and boldness. Discipline isn't just a habit, it's the engine of transformation. For Henry Ford, it wasn't the spark of a single idea that changed the world, but the relentless commitment to act on that idea with structure, order, and resilience. Ford's story isn't just about inventing a car. It's about crafting a philosophy of life, one grounded in unshakable discipline, radical belief, and fearless boldness. When you look closely at what made him great, it's not luck, it's not even genius. Structure, routine, a mind sharpened by habit, and a soul strengthened by consistency. Henry Ford believed that freedom came not from doing whatever you wanted, but from doing what needed to be done, especially when you didn't feel like it. He woke up early, he planned carefully, he questioned everything, and above all, he believed that success belonged to those who mastered their own impulses. To him, discipline wasn't a restriction, it was a foundation. The world is full of dreamers, he once said, but very few of them have the discipline to turn vision into action. And that's where he drew the line between fantasy and progress. This mindset gave birth to the Model T, but long before that car changed history, Ford had already been shaped by hardship. His first two companies failed. Investors laughed at him. Banks refused him. Friends left. But Ford stayed on course. Didn't pivot every time things got hard. He adapted, yes, but he never lost direction. His belief in his mission was so strong, he was willing to rebuild from zero again and again. And he did so with one powerful weapon: disciplined thought. Ford didn't just build machines, he built principles. He believed that true, resilient belief was an act of discipline, not emotion, not hype, but a choice. A decision to believe in yourself, your idea, your work, even when results haven't shown up yet, even when people call you crazy, even when failure knocks louder than success. That's what makes belief a form of discipline. It requires mental toughness. This toughness showed itself in how he treated his employees. In 1914, when the world paid workers $1 or $2 a day, Ford shocked the nation by offering $5 a day. The media called him insane. Businessmen called him reckless. But Ford called it strategy. He believed that treating workers with dignity was not only morally right, but economically smart. A well-paid worker becomes a loyal worker. A loyal worker becomes an excellent worker. What drives excellence? Discipline. It's not belief extended into his factories. Ford studied motion. He timed tasks. He cut waste. Every screw, every step, every second was optimized through strict processes. And all of it demanded discipline from his engineers, from his managers, from himself. If someone slacked, they were replaced. If a process failed, it was fixed. There was no room for laziness, no tolerance for excuses. Ford didn't chase innovation by lucky, designed it through order. He once said, "You can't build a reputation on what you are going to do." In other words, vision means nothing without execution, and execution depends on discipline. Ford understood that motivation comes and goes, feelings change. But discipline, when practiced consistently, becomes identity. It becomes who you are. That's why he succeeded where others gave up. Boldness, too, was part of his code, but not recklessness. Ford wasn't loud. He wasn't flashy. His boldness came from clarity. He knew exactly what he wanted to build. He knew it would require pushing against resistance, political attacks, market failures, but discipline allowed him to remain calm under fire. It gave him the patience to wait and the courage to act when the time was right. His boldest move may have been the assembly line. It was a concept no car maker dared try, moving the product instead of the worker. It sounded ridiculous. But Ford saw the potential and had the discipline to refine the system over months until it worked perfectly. This process cut production time from 12 hours to just 90 minutes. And with it, Ford didn't just build a better car. He revolutionized an entire industry. But Ford's philosophy wasn't just for factories. It was for life. We believe that the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. If you show up late, you think late. If you cut corners at work, you'll cut corners in relationships. Discipline wasn't compartmentalized. It was total. It touched every part of his existence. How he dressed, how he spoke, how he thought. That's why Napoleon Hill chose to study Ford. Because Ford wasn't simply successful, he was intentional. He built success with brick-by-brick habits. He didn't hope for excellence, he engineered it. And it all started with thinking deeply, believing consistently, and acting boldly. Even in his old age, Ford remained a student of routine. He read, he wrote, he reflected. Because discipline isn't a one-time decision. It's a lifelong practice. And that's what separates the enduring from the temporary, the successful from the lucky, the creators from the complainers. In our world today, discipline is often mistaken for rigidity, but Ford shows us the opposite. Discipline is freedom. It's clarity, it's power. The power to say no when distractions call. The power to keep going when others quit. The power to believe in something so deeply that you shape the world around it. And that's the Ford philosophy. Discipline, belief, and boldness. If you've been struggling to stay consistent, if you've been tempted to give up on your goals, remember this. Talent is optional. Luck is unpredictable. But discipline, that's yours to control. You can build it. You can practice it. And with it, you can transform your life just like Ford did. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. There is more to come from the mind of Henry Fordand, from others who turned discipline into destiny. Let's keep building. Together,